When you do the grocery shop, are you looking for bargains? Or checking labels to see where the food you're buying comes from?
No, I try and choose Australian all the time, 100%.
Yeah, I generally look.
No idea today because it's too cold and I really don't care.
Comes down to cost really, because I only work part-time.
Do you wish to print a receipt?
Ken Malib is on the other side of the grocery business. His factory in Melbourne bakes biscuits for supermarkets across Australia and for export. He and his wife have owned the operation for 20 years.
When we bought it, we were in a small building with 5 staff. We now operate out of 3 or 4 buildings with approximately 35 to 40 staff.
But the last few years have been tough. The pandemic pushed them to the brink, and now the rising price of ingredients is hurting.
No one is prospering. We are absolutely in a survival mode. Manufacturing feels very unloved right now.
Ken Malib says the industry needs government help to boost exports and improve productivity.
And unless you want food manufacturing to go the way of the car manufacturing and the dodo bird, you'd want to be doing something pretty fast and pretty serious.
Across the sector, wages, energy and compliance costs are all up.
The ability to pass on price hasn't matched that because of A, the power of the supermarkets, and B, the cost of living. Consumers just won't pay more for products.
There is a cost of manufacturing crisis.
A factory by mountain and sea where the manufacture of cocoa, chocolate and confectionery.
Cadbury chocolates have been made in Hobart since 1922. Its owner, Mondelez, is poised to invest tens of millions of dollars in factory upgrades, but has to decide if it invests in its operations in Australia or overseas.
We're going to need to see some changes and some incentives, whether it be in government policy, in regulation.
The profitability of food manufacturing has fallen by $3 billion over the last decade. The Food and Grocery Council fears without an intervention, Australia's food processing sector will decline, resulting in cuts to its 276,000-strong workforce, particularly in regional areas.
We produce an abundance of agricultural output, but from a processing perspective, that's where the risk is, that we end up not being able to manufacture in Australia and needing to do more importation.
It's already happening. SPC has had to cut back on production.
Canned fruit has been substituted by cheaper products from South Africa and China, and this trend has continued across a number of the food categories.
If Australia becomes increasingly reliant on imported groceries, disruptions to supply chains could result in empty supermarket shelves, like during the pandemic.
Typically, it will be solved in a short time. And even if it doesn't, because it's not an essential item, you will find a replacement.
But there could be cost implications.
Imported product is susceptible to all of those global shocks because then the Australian dollar changes, and as that changes, the price of imported product can go up significantly.
In Hobart, this jam and sauce manufacturer trades on being a locally made product.
I'd love to hear the story about our fruit in our jams being Tasmanian.
As the business grows its interstate markets, it too is struggling with rising costs.
Another email arrived this week, freight's going up again.
Unlike bigger manufacturers, the factory is small enough to make changes quickly.
Our owners are actually investing in new equipment to help support efficiencies and actually allow us to try and save some money.
But like larger manufacturers, Simon Wise is hoping for a lift in support for the food processing industry.
It protects a lot of things, doesn't it? It protects jobs, it protects the farmers. There's a lot involved in this.
In a statement, the federal government has indicated its support for food and beverage manufacturing. It says it's investing billions of dollars in innovation grants and research to help businesses grow. Fiona Blackwood, ABC News.